Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the second video here, second episode of the Apple II Plus time capsule, trying to get it up and running. And after spending a few hours working on my motherboard here, which I have some of the RAM chips pulled out because I was only running the lower bank, I got it to the point where, if you remember in the last video, it would beep at times and the video was scrambled. And so I ended up pulling every IC and checking the pins for oxidation, cleaning them, and shoving them back in the socket. And I got it to the point where the video now looks proper on the screen, but for some reason she doesn't want to boot. And so in the essence of urgency, because I do want to see that Apple prompt again, I set this one aside for now, and I pulled out my spare motherboard that I showed you at the very first photo of the last video I made, and of course it didn't fire up either. So I looked at the pins, and I don't know, it's really strange. For some reason, this other older motherboard here, it had ICs that were, some were clear and some had a lot of oxidation on them. And I noticed that the ones with oxidation tended to be the ones made by TI, and I don't know if it's maybe because of the metals they used. But this one doesn't look so bad. So what I did on this one, I used my, a lot of people use a screwdriver, and I've been caught doing that too. But I used my chip puller, which I've had for years from back in the 80s. It's a dip chip puller, so you don't bend the pins. And I pulled every IC out of its socket about a quarter way, and I pushed them all back down. And believe it or not, once I turned it on, I got the Apple II prompt on the screen. Now, I'm probably going to have to go look at those ICs a little better and check for oxidation, maybe clean some pins. But the fact that I got it to boot is awesome. And every once in a while on here I see a glitch. So it's like maybe one of the ICs is right on edge. I don't know. The only problem I got now, you see there's no prompt. Strange, huh? It's very strange, and what I noticed was it has something to do with the ROM ICs. Because this one here, I actually have it out of its socket a little bit. And I noticed if I push it all the way down, or is it this one, one of these, this one here. One of these, if I had it out of the socket a little bit, so let's see what happens. Look at that. It crashes into the Apple monitor. Isn't that bizarre? And here's the really odd thing about it all, is if I lift that out just a little bit, I believe it was this one. So if I lift this out just a little bit, it's almost like the contacts, like I got to spray some contact cleaner down into that and see what happens. I mean, because let's see what happens now. I'll show you here. So now I got no video. Look at that. Isn't this the strangest? Oh wait, I got the monitor off, duh. Alright, hang on. Sometimes you run into little snafus like that. You forget what you're doing. You gotta be careful. Alright, so I pulled it out a little bit. Let's see what happens. Alright, Apple II. Doesn't crash into ROM, but I don't get a prompt either. But if I push it back down, then it crashes into the ROM and gives me a prompt. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to blame these sockets or some kind of oxidation on these sockets. Not only that, the other problem I got is my return key doesn't. Oh, it creates a space instead of return. But if I jiggle the motherboard here, if I jiggle this board, which is the keyboard controller, I believe, then I can get it to give me a return once in a while. So I think there's some contacts dirty on there too. Also, I noticed the keys are a little stiff and sticky, so I'm going to go look at Adrian's basement, see if he's got a video on maybe cleaning those keys somehow with some deoxit or something to free them back up and get them back to normal, because these keyboards are hard to find. They're a pain. And but anyway, I'm getting close, everybody. I'm getting close, so wish me luck. I'm going to do some more work on this and try to get it 100%, at least to the point where we can put a floppy card in there with it, or a drive controller card and a floppy, and boot the floppy and see if we can even get the old 3.2 Apple DOS to boot. But for now, I'm happy because the video looks pretty clear. I got a prompt, and I'm halfway there. So, well, maybe a quarter of the way there. So take care. I'll catch you guys on the next video with more progress, hopefully.